Hello, everybody. This is Helena Summer, love and relationship coach. Super excited today to be with no one else but the guru of all of this transformation when it comes to our relationships, John Gray. John, thank you for being here with me again.
I'm so happy, and it's a pleasure for me.
Yes. I want to talk directly about the most important thing that is happening to women of a certain age, and how that tigress time can affect our relationship. Please, can you tell us, in your experience of so many years of teaching and writing books about hormonal changes, what did you notice is the most psychological effect? We all know physiological hot flashes and stuff, but psychological effect that influences our partnerships.
Well, what we have to realize is why, first of all, are we having the physical symptoms? Let me just discuss why, and then we can also look at the symptoms. Is that when you're going through menopause, your body has to make a change from your ovaries making the estrogen to your adrenal gland making the estrogen. Okay, you don't have the freedom of huge amounts of estrogen immediately available as a necessity. Now, suddenly your body can still make estrogen, but it has to make it from another gland, which is your adrenal gland. Now, when people today women are having menopausal symptoms, we know the hot flashes, the mood disturbances, the irritability, and the impatience. It's impatience, mood, it's remembering the past, focusing on the negative. You're in a stress response. See, this is what we have to look at. Those are the symptoms. You're in a stress response. That when you're in a stress response, because the adrenal glands have to kick into gear and make this very important hormone called estrogen, which is the love hormone. Okay, now people here, they always think of oxytocin as the love hormone, and that is a brain chemical, and that is an important hormone too. But that's the safety. When you stimulate oxytocin, you feel safe. That's not what lowers your stress levels, though. From the safety, you now begin to feel like, okay, if I feel safe, then I can ask for help. Then I can depend on others. You know, almost the whole beginnings of the feminist movement of more independence for women, although I think it's a great thing for women to have more independence. If you're in a bad relationship, you can get out of it. Okay, so there's a reality. But understand it all starts from being in a bad relationship. Girls growing up with fathers who are not available, fathers who weren't there. And so they can't trust men, they can't depend on men. So they live in a state of hyper stress because they don't feel safe. The presence of a father, a loving father, makes you feel safe. When you feel safe, then you can feel, I can depend on a man. Your mother did not depend on a man. And so you have no experience of, men are wonderful. Men are great. They're like the handyman. They'll do whatever you want. They're the rescue guy. They're the emergency guy. They don't have any needs. They're not demanding. They don't whine. They don't complain. They're like comfortable to be around. So these are all the good virtues of men. But if you don't have that as a child growing up, then you don't feel safe. And so when women don't feel safe, then they experience more adrenaline. They're in a sea of adrenaline. Now, for women who are going through menopause, and you're having these hot flashes and mood swings and irritability and inability to feel positive as opposed to a bias towards negativity. What happens when you're in a stress state? Because now your adrenal glands are being required to produce estrogen, but the adrenal has already burnt out. See, your adrenal gland is going to be pumping out all of your cortisol. And a lot of women, by the time they get to menopause, they're not even making cortisol. So, because I have women test their hormones and so forth. And when they're younger, when they're stressed, they'll be producing the cortisol hormone. But as you get older, you're not even producing the cortisol hormone because it's the gland has been overstressed. Okay. It's not healthy. So you have to help restore adrenal function and do things that will increase adrenal function. And ironically, they're the same things that would allow you to produce more estrogen. Because first you produce oxytocin, which is I'm feeling safe, and we'll discuss how to do that. And then with that, then what are the skills to stimulate estrogen? And you have to have these skills to make it through menopause, but even more importantly, after menopause. You want to be happy and fulfilled. You want to be making love. You want to have your sexual function intact. So many women
We need
lose
to talk
that.
about sex. We definitely need to talk about that. Yes.
Yeah, very, very important because in order to experience increasing love in your life, sexuality is a big part of it. I'm not saying it's the only way to feel love, but to feel increasing love, to feel that attraction, that ignite of, it's not going to be all the time, but what happens is you have to think of it like two magnets, a man and a woman, and he's the one pole, the positive, he's actually the positive pole, she's the negative pole in terms of the
energetics.
It's the polarity, but it doesn't mean she's a negative person. But he's the receptive, the emptiness, and since the vagina and the penis penetrates in. So you've got the positive pole, you got the negative pole. And if you take two magnets and you just move them in that field, you'll feel comfort. You'll feel it's like a field that's different from other people, without a doubt. You've got this field, but you don't feel as much until they get close. And that's the bedroom. When you're lying in bed or when you're touching skin to skin, what happens is then, like two magnets, if they were to come together, let's make these magnets. I decide I'm going to find some magnets to show people this. But what happens is they're coming together, and when they get close, they spark. I mean, there is a spark, and that's how to get the spark back. You've got, but you've got to have the polarity of her having way more estrogen than him, and him having way more testosterone than her. That's the polarity. The only way you'll find that polarity again is to find a new relationship. It won't last that long, but you will. The newness of a relationship produces dopamine. Now, dopamine for a man raises his testosterone, and dopamine, when a woman feels safe, raises estrogen. So now what you're getting is this polarity of high femininity and high masculinity. And then when you get naked, the spark is there. And that's what you can have for a lifetime. And I'm 72 years old. The spark's never gone. My friends, in my age group, they're not interested in sex anymore. Nothing's happening down south anymore. And for me, it's never gone away. What's gone away is it's not like I'm horny all day. Okay. that doesn't happen. But what happens is I get close to my wife and give her a kiss, or she kisses me, and it's
You're going to explode.
And it explodes. You need that little, because you don't want to be like, as a young guy, you're looking for it all the time or whatever. You don't have to do that anymore. But what you have is this nice field of connection and love, and then you get close, the click happens. And that's what we call it, making love, because that brings back the love. Because what it will do for a woman is it increases her estrogen levels again. There's nothing more powerful than making love to produce high estrogen in a woman. And she doesn't need as high as when she was a young woman. What she needs when she's young or older is balance. It's the balance between the male side of her and the female side of her. And when women are going through all the menopausal physical symptoms, that's a sign she has adrenal burnout. And if she has adrenal burnout, she has to change the way she relates to people, because what caused the adrenal burnout in the first place is the way she relates to people. She's more independent. She's a giver. She overgives. She's overbusy. She thinks about other people, or she's thinking about her goals. She's feeling the pressure of making money. All those things is her male side. So this is paradoxical thinking. When a woman is giving, she's on her male side. You just have to take this in for a moment, and you kind of go, no, when I'm loving and everything, yes, when you're feeling love, what you want to do is give. But first, you're feeling love. And you only feel love, whether it be a man or a woman, when you're receptive. Love is a response. Okay, love is a response to someone being present for you in some meaningful way. So if I'm hungry and you feed me, I feel love. And if I'm a woman and I feel that love, then I want to give back to you. Then, see, this is the natural female thing. Now, for a man, he feels love primarily when he anticipates being successful. So I want love. I want you to love me. So I have to know, okay, what can I do to get you to love me? See, I have to earn it. The male side of us, if we just look at male, female side, now every woman has a male and female side. Every man has a male and female side, except my biology is male. And if I do too much of my female side, my male becomes weak. If a woman does too much on her male side, her female side becomes weak. What we want is to find that balance. And menopause is the time. It's the test. How balanced have you been? Some women don't experience all those symptoms. But what happens is it becomes the hot flashes, the sleeplessness, all that is, you're in a state of adrenaline, stress all the time. because your adrenal glands aren't functioning healthy. And there's something we can do for that as well. But the main thing is to change the behaviors that caused you to burn out. And what caused you to burn out was overgiving, seeking to do, or simply serving other people that you don't love. Okay, I'm serving them to make money. Now, I counsel clients today. Every day I counsel clients. And I remind them at one point when they complain, why doesn't my husband listen to me like you? I mean, he's my husband. And I say, well, first, you're never complaining about me. You're only complaining about him. If you change to complaining about me, I'll double my rate. Okay. So that's the first thing. Second one is it's only 50 minutes. I've got you for 50 minutes. I don't have you all the time. So it's very easy for me to be very understanding and be there. But the third, which is the most important, is I get paid. I'm not your husband. I get paid to do this. He's your husband. And so what you have to do is there has to be some give and take in the relationship. You have to know what he needs and what he doesn't need. And what he doesn't need is what you've been doing. Because if you have burnout, it's like you're not too much discontent, too much complaining, too much advice, too much trying to change him and improve him smothers a man's masculinity. And that's all in my book, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, so much of that. But I want to do some straight biohacks for women to get their hormones back into play because we only have this short period of time together. So it's understanding your adrenal glands need support. The behaviors that caused you to have adrenal burnout are the behaviors you need to change. And we'll look at what those are. But first of all, the major symptom of adrenal burnout is you're living in a state of adrenaline production. And in that state of adrenaline, you have a bias in your brain that you cannot change until you heal the adrenal glands. And what the bias is, your brain immediately goes into a bias that looks only at negativity. You cannot be optimistic. You cannot see the positive. You really just see what's wrong. And it's like you have no control over it. I mean, literally, if I was to put on these glasses, everything's yellow, right? So everything is yellow. It's like the blue is taken out. I can't see any of the blue. These are the things you're supposed to do with a computer, but it knocks out the blue. So when you're in a stress state, the glasses you put on are going to knock out anything positive. You can't see the positive. You just see the negative. And the negative is the same negative that's there for everybody. We all have negativity in our lives. Doesn't matter how rich you are, how poor you are, you all have negativity. It's just, do you have enough positivity to balance it? And this is particularly the way women process love and stress and so much. If they're not feeling good, they're in a stress state, their brain looks at a bias of looking at what's negative. Then what the brain's designed to do, if you use your brain design, is generate looking at something positive. But first you have to look at the negative, then you'll look at the positive if you choose to. So this is a discipline that women have to learn, which is how to look at the negative without using the negative to change somebody. That's called a complaint. So normally when you have a discontent, you're ignoring me all the time. You have no passion. It's all gone now. You leave a mess around the house. You forgot to call me. I feel like you don't care. You're not even interested in what I feel or what I think. It's like we're strangers living in the same house, or it's like we're just friends, but you're not cleaning your clothes right. Whatever it is, these little petty things, they become big things when your brain has this bias of looking at the negative. So then what you do is you communicate the negative, and that would be called giving suggestions to your partner that they're not asking for. Okay. You should do this. You should do that. And he doesn't want to hear that, but you think he needs to hear that. That's different. That's right. That's different from, honey, I don't know what to do about this. What do you think I should do? Then you can give advice, and only then be very careful. So you're either trying to improve him or you're pointing out to him what's wrong with him. And that's even worse. Okay. They're both doesn't work. So what you're doing is using your discontent, I'm not satisfied, and you're expressing that discontent in some way to change the outer world. That's called complaining, okay, or disapproving. Whenever you do that, you put your brain further into a negative state. The only way you can free yourself from this loop of thinking about the negative, thinking about the negative, thinking about looking at the negative, your brain just goes into a bias, is to begin to look at your negative and let it go without telling that person. So this is the concept. Okay. I've never read this before. This is John Gray stuff, and it works. I've helped women shift this incessant, I forget the word they use for it for women, but it's thinking about it again and again and again.
Compulsivity, yes, I understand.
It's like compulsively thinking about this is not working, that he did this. You can't forget it. Your brain just loops on it. Okay. You're starting to loop and loop and loop. How do you break that loop so you can come back to the other side, which is the positive, so you can balance it out? And balancing, the brain wants to do it. You have to free it to do it by learning how to do it. Whenever you have discontent, adrenaline, stress, and you express that in some way to get somebody to change, you now are reinforcing the need to be negative because you're using negativity to create a change in the world. You want change to occur. When you're stressed, the outer world has to change, and you have to realize that, okay, my negativity, if I express it, not only will not change the outer world, so it just gets worse, but also it causes me to use negativity to try to change the world. So if I use negativity to change him and he doesn't change, the brain goes, then I have to do it harder, and I have to push harder, and I have to push harder. It's the negative loop. It just, we have to get out of that. That's why people first will get a little angry, raise their voice, and what doesn't work, they raise their voice even more, and they raise their voice even more. And over time, the brain is loud all the time. It just will keep going. So we have to change the pattern. Now, the bias is automatic. When you're in a stress state, your brain will always look for the negative. Because, if somebody said, there's a terrorist in town, you're going to be looking for where's the terrorist, okay? Whenever you're in a stress state, you look at what's wrong. Now, I'll give you a funny example from my marriage because I've learned all this stuff. My partner will actually say, John's the perfect husband. And knowing what I know now, I am the perfect husband. There's no question in my mind.
I believe.
But she says, my only complaint that I have about you is I have nothing to complain about. I feel like
She's lonely.
I need to complain about something. Anyway, so we do one of our techniques, which is if you have nothing to complain about me, complain about other things. See, you can get that complaint out. And so if she's talking to me about other things, then she's not trying to change me. She's not using negativity to change me. But what she's doing is expressing herself to be heard, because that is a very important need that women have. Is if there's discontent, somebody has to hear me. That's why we have this business of coaching and counseling, just talking about what's inside, particularly for women. When you feel heard and understood, then you feel I'm not alone, so I'm safe. Yes. Okay, you have to imagine that there's, this is where our brain developed over 1 million years in a survival mode. We were in a survival world, dangerous world. There were no police, there were no armies. There was, you're out in the jungle and you've got a bunch of huts around, and that's your little village. And then you're out getting some water from the river late at night for your baby or something, and you see a tiger in the jungle. Well, what are you going to do? You're going to go run and tell somebody. Imagine you can't tell anybody. You feel huge pressure, not just for yourself, but for everybody else. You feel guilty if I don't do something. This is what women will feel, is guilt. Oh, I should do something. It's all up to me. It's all up to me. That's a major stressor. And that's what causes the chronic stress in women, that causes their adrenals to burn out, which is causing the menopausal problems, which inhibits over time their ability to love. Okay, the ability to love means the ability to not be judgmental, to see the potential of something, to see what's good, because your brain will always see the negative. Women are designed to see what's wrong. Okay, men are not. Men are designed to see what's the most efficient way to get rid of what's negative. Okay, our brains just go that way. Whereas women's brains, we have something called the efficiency hormone, which means never do anything you don't have to do. So that's just who we are. We're just not motivated unless it's the most important thing and we have to do it.
Yeah. That's why there are socks on the floor and dishes everywhere. You don't have to do it. It's not urgent. And women complain.
It's like, I'll wait till tomorrow. We're like mañana. Why do it now? I'd rather take a rest. Because that's his imperative, is he lives. The reason men have this thing, never do it unless you have to do it, is that we have less energy than women. What we have is muscle energy. If we compare the muscle energy in my body to the fat energy, every man's born with at least 25% more muscle mass, more muscle cells than a woman. Now, that muscle energy is like a sprinter who runs out really quickly. If I'm burning fat, and the only way you can burn fat is to feel safe. If you don't feel safe, you can't burn fat. That's why the imperative is always for women to feel safe. Men feeling danger gives them their muscle energy. Danger kicks up testosterone, their muscle energy comes into play, but it runs out real fast. Okay, so this is how men are. They work real hard, and then they got to rest. They got to rest. And whereas women, if they work really hard, then they have to rest. That's their male side. But their female side, if they were relaxed and didn't have to work really hard, you have to work, you have to do things, but it's primarily doing things you get to do, you love to do, you like to do, and some things you have to do. But when your whole life is about what I have to do, you're burning stress all the time. And that's where you have to shift that gear into, and what I get to do, what I don't have, and also what I don't have to do. That's the most important. So I'll give you a biohack right now for if you're in a relationship and you're a woman going through menopause, or even after menopause, you need to get your estrogen levels cranked up. What stimulates estrogen more than anything, and men have figured this out, women figured this out for thousands of years, it's get a man to do something you can do for yourself, but you don't have to. I'll just say that very slowly. I've analyzed this. Get a man to do something for you that you could do for yourself, but you don't have to because he's doing it for you. So
while he's doing it, zip it. Don't say, oh, you should do dishes differently. You should do that.
Right. You can't complain.
Oh my God. Make a video. Tell to the world I'm the luckiest woman. This is what I call, John, I call it spread his sperm. Because if my man is doing the dishes, I bet you I'm going to take a picture and spread his sperm so he doesn't have to. Right? I'm happy. Nice. I'm zipping. I'm not complaining.
He doesn't have to. Tell the world what an amazing guy is. Absolutely. My wife understands when anybody's there around, she will sing my glories. You know, John did this, John did that, John's this, and my testosterone goes up. And why I refer to testosterone is that whenever a man has 10 times more testosterone than the average woman, he's in a good mood, he's non-defensive, his self-esteem's going up, he's very agreeable, motivated, and positive when he has 10 times more testosterone than the average woman. And when he's romantic, it's everything above 10 times more. So like if I'm having sex and making love or whatever, it's 20 times, it's at least double or triple my normal testosterone levels. It has to be, because that is this intimate moment where basically this woman knows everything about you and she still wants to invite you into her. She still opens the doors for him. That is the biggest testosterone booster in a man. And over time, you don't get the free, and basically when a woman is willing to open up like that and fully surrender herself to enjoy the moment with this man, and what's happening biologically, and this is proven, is her estrogen levels have doubled. They're already 10 times more than a man's, and now they've doubled to 20 times more than a man's. That's what allows you to be orgasmic, okay, to have orgasm, to fully enjoy your later years. And this is the best time. You've got more time to do it.
But is this regardless if you are entering your menopause when your natural estrogen is falling down, or this is before when your estrogen is higher?
No, it's always there. It's just when you're younger, your estrogen will always be much higher, okay? And you get it to a certain extent free, which is good, but also not good, because if you're towards ovulation and you're a single woman, you'll be depressed, okay? Because your estrogen's going up, which says, I need a man, and there's no man, and now you feel I can't get what I need. So there's problems that come with that. But also, if you're with a man and estrogen goes much higher, that will raise a man's testosterone or helps to raise it up. And then that need is fulfilled. So think about estrogen as a hormone that allows you to become aware of what you need. Okay. So the first thing that happens is estrogen starts to go up. You're aware of what you need. If you're not getting what you need, then you'll feel stressed that you're not getting what you need. So for some women, as estrogen goes up, they become more stressed. For other women, as estrogen goes up, they become more appreciative of what they do have. Okay. So what I'm saying is part of one of the things a woman has to learn to do during the menopausal period and after that, and even before that, is whenever you're stressed, to be able to communicate either through journaling on your own, or because you're talking to God at that point, or you're talking to yourself, whatever you want to do, or imagine talking to somebody and saying what you want to say, but you've got to articulate it into words. What the thing about getting it into words is that you're using a different part of your brain. You're not just over on the right brain. You're also using the left brain to articulate feelings with words, which then allows you to go to the prefrontal cortex and make sense of them and be able to look at things more logically. Because whenever you're upset, whether you're a man or woman, you're not being logical. Okay. Being upset is not logical. It just, you know, I mean, you have to look at things. You know, this is my reality of 50 years, women talking to me, being upset about something, and then exploring and expressing their feelings, and then they're not upset. Nothing changed in the outer world, except they made a change. They either felt her, certainly just by talking about your feelings, estrogen levels will go up. When estrogen levels go up, stress levels go down. And then that bias towards looking at negativity goes away, and you can look at negative and you can look at positive. So a lot of times people are upset, they're just looking at the negative. And then if things don't get worse, like you don't create a big fight or argument, you're just upset about something, let a little time pass. And now you have other experiences that allow you to balance that negative experience with a positive experience. And now you can let it go. But you don't have to take all that time. All you have to do is write out what's bothering you, and then write out what you want, and then imagine getting it, and then imagine how you would feel having gotten it, and you'd feel grateful and appreciative. And then you'd realize, I'm making a big deal out of nothing. Okay. Or you'd realize, all right, I made a mistake and pushed his buttons. I know what to do next time. So your wisdom always comes back when you have a balance of your male and female side. But for women, I think it's just imperative that they talk first about what's bothering them. Okay, that's the first thing. Unedited. Now, what I never do as the therapy I do with couples, and it's very effective, is I never see them together. Say, this is what woman can ever really feel safe to express what's deeper inside of her in the presence of her husband, because it's going to upset him. Okay. It's like women, you know, when I'll take a woman, for example, and she'll complain to me, oh, he was coming home in such a bad mood. And I said, well, tell me about that. And then she gives me more details about it, more details. And well, tell me more. And I said, now that just must be disgusting to hear those feelings. And she'll go like, he knows. It is. She's never going to say that's disgusting in front of her husband. You know, you have to have the freedom to really go into the irrational part of us. And that is an irrational reaction, but it's the first reaction that comes up when you're angry at someone. But ultimately, whenever you're disgusted with something out there, you're disgusted with something inside yourself as well. I mean, these are all the depths of psychology that maybe not everybody's aware of, but she doesn't have to be that sophisticated. Just write out what's bothering her. Now, when you write out what's bothering you, and this is a hack, this is how you can help your adrenal gland come back to produce healthy amounts of estrogen. As I'm describing this, I'm remembering I didn't answer your last question, which is the younger woman automatically has more estrogen. Then the woman who's in love at the beginning, for the first 3 months or so, sometimes a couple of years, you're getting free dopamine, which increases estrogen. Free dopamine is because there's a newness to the relationship.
Regardless of her age.
Yeah. What's that?
Regardless of her age.
Regardless of age, newness will stimulate dopamine. A lot of women want to go on world cruises, for example. They get on a boat and go on the cruise. That's a really good thing to help through this time. Just being experienced a lot of new and different will stimulate dopamine, which helps your estrogen levels start to come back. And the best of all, you don't have to make testosterone so much. See, by the time if you have any kind of adrenal burnout, if you're a woman, it's because you've been making too much testosterone, not enough estrogen. So what raises estrogen and reduces testosterone? A romantic date, where man does for you so you don't have to do it yourself. A man takes you somewhere where somebody cooks for you so you don't have to cook for yourself. Someone cleans your sheets for you where someone doesn't have to do it yourself. Someone organizes a little outing and tells you where to go and you don't have to do it yourself. A cruise is like an amazing thing for this, or having, you know, someone who helps you, a guide to help you go on a vacation where things are done for you that you don't have to do yourself. This is such a power. You have to just understand where the stress comes from. And you'll see so many women naturally do this, not all, but if you go on these cruises, you'll see these old people are having the time of their life. Why? Because the woman she basically has other people doing things for her. So he doesn't have to feel the burden of doing everything for her. And when he doesn't feel I have to do everything, then suddenly he feels I'm doing enough. And when he feels I did enough, then his testosterone goes up and he comes alive. So, this is, in some couples, they'll go on campers, but the man will, I got one couple, they went on this big trip together, and he does the whole thing. He's like a Virgo, he's like a compulsive person. So, okay, plan out the trip so she doesn't have to do anything. The one mistake they made is he didn't ask her what she'd like to do. So that's another aspect of romance and building estrogen. Never do what the man wants. If you do what the man wants, then you're the man. If you have the man do what you want, as far as what's going to make you happy, then basically the man hears what your needs are and he's going to provide it. That's romance. If he says to you, oh, let's do something special, honey, what do you want to do? And then she'll say, I don't know. What do you want to do? He says, oh, I want to go camping. Okay, we can go camping again. We always go camping, but maybe next time he'll do something I want to do. No, just say, look, I'm not into the camping thing, if that's her reaction, but what I would like to do, okay, is I like to go to the ballet, or I like to go for a walk in nature. I like to have picnics sometime. I like to go on a little getaway. I like to go stay at a hotel room and have someone cook for me, So I don't want to have to do everything, but she has to be the one who expresses what she would like, what would feel good to her. But that will then once you do that, then he starts to feel a little controlled, like he's not leading the pack. When you solve the problem, she kind of solved the problem. So what you do is he says, well, what would you like to do? Or if he says, let's go do this, you say, oh, we could do that, but I'd really like to do something else. And he says, okay, what's that? Well, here's 3 things I would like to do. These 3 things, I'm not sure which one, but all 3 would be fine with me. You pick. And if you need time to pick, you pick. Then he picks. Now, there's a whole dynamic of when I pick something, it's mine. If she picks it, it's hers. Okay. And I don't get credit for it. It's just such good psychology here. It's just a great hack. If we went on a vacation to some great hotel and Bonnie's telling someone, oh, we went to the hotel, it was so great. It was on her 50th anniversary. Again, I did another hack. I basically waited to the weekend because she could see me on the computer for hours trying to find the best place at the best price and so forth. So she saw that. I said, well, I'm getting there. I think I'll find something. So she saw me working on the computer for her. It's a different reaction when I'm working on the computer to make money, because we have enough money. If we didn't have money, then that would make a big difference. But if we, pretty much not that big of a deal. He's working hard. He does that every day. Oh, he's doing for my birthday, my anniversary. He's going to find something special. So anyway, I found something special. We had it up. Then that was not even me asking her. I just knew that's something that would be really nice for her. So then after the trip, she told everybody about it. She spread the sperm. Okay. She told everybody.
Cool idea.
A big party. And every time she tells a story, it's like, yes, I'm the man. I did that. And people would always ask her, well, how'd you find this place? And then she gets to say, oh, John stayed the whole weekend looking for this thing. See, that's feathers in her hat that I spent all that time. And then and of course he got a good deal and he saved money. That's always an extra thing to do for a woman. So the point I'm making there is make sure he gets credit. And by making sure he gets credit, because men's testosterone goes up when they anticipate I will be successful in making a difference, I get credit for that. Okay, it's what I get credit for. And this is funny. If I go into the business world with women, they always complain to me. Men are always like taking my idea and taking credit for it. They steal credit because that's their motivation. And you have to think about men. It's like you're playing a soccer game. In soccer, your job is to steal the ball from the other team, right? In business, that's what men are playing by those rules. And your job is to steal the ball back. That's not your nature, but you have to learn. If you're going to be in the work world, men are going to be stealing balls. It's very easy to steal them back. And you just simply
masculine women will do that too.
And they will do. Oh yeah, they will take it. Yes,
they are ruthless.
And then what you do as a woman, and you're not that masculine, so you don't instinctively know to steal the ball or take the ball. Because in basketball and in soccer, you're not stealing. You're playing the game. Those are the rules. You're playing by the rules. And so what you have to do with a man when he's in a meeting or something, he's taking credit for something, you immediately just go, yes, that is such a good idea. I remember when I told you about that. And I even did research with so-and-so and so-and-so, and they thought it was a good idea too. And I liked your little addition there. That's nice. But actually, I think we could do this and this. So you can piss on his piss. Because men actually think it's their idea just because they forgot you said it, which sometimes is the case, or or they'll make one little change and then they'll take credit for it. And in the work world, you want to get your credit because that's the male world. But in the relationship world, you need to give him credit whenever possible. And you'll win too, because you go, oh, yes, he spent the whole weekend doing that. So those are little hacks of getting a man to do for you what you could do, because you're a woman, you can do everything. And when I say you can do everything, I really mean it. It's not just some placating thing. You know, women say, women is strong, women can do everything. Actually, women can. But here's the catch. You can do everything, but you won't sleep at night.
Exactly. We get nervous, excited. Yeah.
You're going to be stressed if you do everything. But you can do everything. There's no question about it. And you can look at the biology of our genes. Males start out as little girls in the womb. For the first 3 weeks, we have all female genes. We have all your genes. We're all the same. And then what happens? You have a male side and a female side. Those all the genes. You're a male and a female. Now, for a man, he has a male and a female. But then what happens after 3 weeks? The Y chromosome, which women don't have, that's what separates us. It releases 23 genes. These 23 genes women do not have, and we have it as men. And what those 23 genes do is they override certain female genes. So we cannot make babies, so that we don't have a vagina. So all these various things, we don't have as much fat cells as women. We have more, everything's a flip. It's a flip. It's an opposite. It's an opposite, an opposite. And so it's through women that we as men can feel whole. Okay, because when I'm connecting with her energetically, I get the benefit of those genes that were overridden in me. I cannot find that myself. Women can, they can be on both sides, but it's hard to be on both sides. It's difficult without a man, because your tendency without a man is I have to go to my male side in this world to make money, to protect myself and save myself. And then you're not on your female side at the same time. So romance is it's a breather. It's like, let's take some breath in, where a woman can feel, I don't have to be on both sides at the same time because I'm not good at that yet. You can get good at that. That means to be making money, doing your job, and feeling totally relaxed, totally at ease, not stressed at all, and being so happy all the time. Okay, that's not where most people are. Now, that's where I am after 72 years. I'm doing my job, and I'm as happy and as lucky. I can, I'm in state of ecstasy practically all the time, unless I'm tired, and then I sleep, okay? And my sleep is great. So this is a life where I built up behavior habits, ways of relating to others and to myself that produces lots of testosterone and lots of estrogen. So I have that nice balance, but you have to take a long time to build those muscles on both sides. So whenever women are stressed, and the symptom of stress during menopausal time is menopausal symptoms. The symptoms of low estrogen, high testosterone is feeling overwhelmed. There's too much to do. There's not enough time. I'm always doing for others. I don't have time for me. I always give to others and people don't give back to me. I feel resentful. Okay. I feel tired. I feel exhausted. I feel irritated. I don't feel love. Yet, how can I love? Because he doesn't do this and this and this. I love him, but I can't love him if he does this and this and this. See, this is this trick women do. I'm still a loving person because that's who you are. You can't say I'm not a loving person. You are a loving person, but then you'll say, I love him so much, but I can't love him if he does this, this, and this, as if he's responsible for your ability to love. And so you pass the buck. And no, you have to recognize, if I'm not loving, I'm not loving. And I need to be responsible to feel love and to be loving. And then I look to my partner to be even more loving. See, it's like he's the bonus.
But how can I be loving if I'm working so hard and he's not participating and contributing? And many relationships during this age have either woman wants to go have sex with younger guys, and she has zero attraction to her husband.
Yes.
Maybe he is also all limpy. So
well, he has exactly. He has zero attraction to her.
Exactly.
What I know to be the case, and many times, really hard for a woman to be turned on to her husband if he's not turned on to her. Okay, it's very, very important. There's actually a reciprocity of the hormones. If I'm making more testosterone, if my testosterone bumps up in her presence, I put out a pheromone that awakens more estrogen in her. And you have estrogen receptors in your nose as well. And if you ask me to do something and I did it for you, and that made you feel more at ease and comfortable and happy in your life because I did that for you, you get a surge of estrogen because he did something for you. That would then give him a surge of testosterone. So the whole sexual attraction thing starts with you have to get a little bit going, a little bit going, a little bit going. Now, any woman who's not turned on to her husband has no idea how to communicate in a way that motivates her husband to do things for her.
And she may be gaining weight and feel not so attractive, and he's not attracted to her. He would rather play video games or whatever, something. So what is a woman to do when she doesn't like her body herself and the changes and there is no attraction?
Well, let's take all the pieces of that are very important. If you do not feel that you're worthy of sexual attraction, if you don't feel I'm beautiful, it's hard for a man to feel you're beautiful. And I just want to say this to women. If you made the mistake, time passes, men forget you said it over time. But if you say, I really don't like this nipple or this breast is too small, he never noticed. He will never notice until you pointed it out. And then he'll be thinking, well, is it really that attractive? He literally, he doesn't see your body the way you see your body. And there are couples when they're younger who are overweight and they still have sex. Okay. It's the hormones. But one of the major hormone stimulators is I feel worthy. If I'm a woman, I feel beautiful. I feel beautiful. So because part of femininity is beauty. So what you do is you do things to make yourself look beautiful. You could, you see these older women who are very wise. They'll wear something here, a little piece of jewelry or something beautiful on them. So somebody can say, oh, what a beautiful this. And yes, that's part of me. Okay. So and they put forth effort to do something beautiful. Well, this is beautiful. This is beautiful. Now, low self-esteem will say, no, that's not beautiful. But it's also not understanding male psychology. Now, I know male psychology, and what you need to know is that if a man is turned on, you are beautiful. So you were just saying
that, for example, I thought I was beautiful. I felt sexy, but my ex-husband, he was very dismissive of how I look.
Okay,
this is why he earned the status X.
Yeah, he should be the X. He has no manners at all. A man should never comment on a woman's body. And if he starts, because maybe he doesn't understand that, what happens is a woman has the power to say, please, never comment on my body. It's just you have to have boundaries. Try to do as nice as you can.
To help, your boobs are too small.
Please, never comment on my body. You don't know what it's like to be a woman. You could explain more. You don't know what it's like to be a woman. I'm comparing myself with women all day. I know everything about my body. What I need from you is to love me in that way, completely unconditional. Do you love me?
I'm not attracted to you. I cannot have sex with you. I'm not.
Yeah, well, there was a lot before that, and there's a place where he lost his attraction, and it was just the fact that he has that bad of a manner to say that means he doesn't know anything about a woman. You can't stay turned on to a man who doesn't do the things that make you feel safe, that make you feel loved, that make you feel special, that make you feel beautiful. He has to do those things. You can't feel that way. But let's look at, I want women to know, is that a man doesn't have the same judgmentalness about body that women have about their own bodies. Okay, just to know that. We don't go around fussing about our body all the time. I talked to a guy hear me talking to one guy. So, you really need to get that belly. The belly's a bit too big. And he says, yeah, I got a big belly, but look at this. See?
So male.
It's so male. It's just so male. We can find one thing to be good at. That's good enough for me, and the truth is,
wow, you have a beautiful face. Yes, but my cellulite.
Exactly. That's a woman. Just the other thing. She goes the flip side of that. Just don't ever say that to him. It just gets in the way.
Yeah.
Because it's reality. You may have cellulite, you may be overweight or whatever, but romance, you have to leave reality a little bit. Okay. It's and actually it's the true truth. We all are lovable no matter what. Okay. We all deserve them. But what a woman doesn't know is that when a man is turned on, when he's getting an erection, if he has an erection, he's in an altered state of consciousness that cannot and will not judge you.
Oh, I see.
You are perfect. you are beautiful. And he'll say those things to you. You're so beautiful. And you'll go, no, you don't. No, you don't think that. No.
You're just horny.
But that is his reality. And it was a shock to me when I learned that. But in the first time dating my wife, Bonnie, she was, I think we're gotten married to or something. But at one point we went to the lingerie store together. You know, it's kind of like a marriage rite. You know, let's go pick out on lingerie. Maybe we'll make love in the closet, you know, whatever. But as soon as we're going in, there was this poster, a big poster outside of a woman with this lacy purple breast bra and panties. And I immediately said to her, I said, "Oh, honey, let's get that." And let's get that. And then she said, "John, that's not my body." Now, what she meant is that's not my body type. And women have different body types. But I said, "No, honey, that's your body." And that was her body. It was her body. And then that night when we were making love and she undressed, I know, oh, she's not that type. But in my mind, she was that. Okay, she was whatever she was perfect. But now she brought it up. Now that quickly dissipated after a while, because when a man is turned on, he has enough testosterone and estrogen to love you unconditionally and think you're absolutely beautiful. It's amazing. You just have to know we are not as judgmental of women as you could imagine, because women are so judgmental about themselves when it comes
So
to
what's better? If a man is turned on, like for a morning quickie, and she wants a romance when they are all showered and pretty, is it better to take the quickie because you got something, or to wait for the perfect opportunity if you are in a sex-starved relationship?
Okay, so let's just put the condition out there, not totally sex starved for a moment, okay? Because we have to realize why you're sex starved. But I've written a book called Mars, Venus in the Bedroom. I think every couple should read it out loud, back and forth, or one reads it, ideally the man, or they can take turns reading it, because it initiates conversation about sex that couples don't ever have. And it's very well done. People told me it's their favorite book of mine. Okay, just because sex is a topic couples don't know how to communicate about. And it's kind of like you're reading something that you're not doing right now in your relationship. And it's like, does that sound good? Oh, that might be good. Let's try that. You know, so, and these are not the typical sex books. See, I'm a spiritual person. Sex is animalistic unless you're making love. If you want passion to last, it has to be making love. Physical lust goes away over time very quickly. What you have to do is you have to use sex as a way to make love. And men particularly need a woman to feel more intently. Okay, so every man, when his penis touches her vagina, he will feel more love for her than at any other time. You can ask men, or I've asked men. When you put your penis in there, don't you feel more love in that moment? Yes. Why? Because you're feeling more. See, it's pleasure. You're just feeling pleasure. But when you're feeling, if you're in a loving relationship, only if you're in a loving relationship, then you have the ability to feel the love you have for your partner. The love is there, but we don't feel it all the time. These women who are going through menopause, they have love in their hearts. They're just not feeling it. They don't have the hormones to feel it. But when a man gets close to a woman physically like that, particularly when the penis is held, even by her hand, just holding her hand on his penis, dramatically increases his ability to feel. Then what you do, this is a hack. We're talking about a couple in a relationship. Then you say to him, and you already practiced this beforehand, but what it would look like in making love is you would always, even before this, but at least when he puts the penis in, you'd say, "Do you love me?" And he says, "Yes." And you say, "How much do you love me?" And he says, "With all my heart." "Do you think I'm beautiful?" "You are so beautiful. You're the stars in the sky, the full moon." You'll see the most beautiful things come out of men when they're in touch with their feelings. We say we're not poetic unless we're poets. And often then we're gay, or we're too angry and irritable, too much estrogen. But, they have tormented lives, these people who are males on their female side. A lot of geniuses are that way because they have access to both hemispheres of their brain, but they all have tormented sex lives. They're all confused about their sexuality because they don't have this clarity of, whenever I'm a man, I'm upset, I need to come back and generate male hormones. And for women, when women are ever stressed in our culture today, they're too far on their male side. There can be such a situation in ancient cultures, and not that ancient, even today occasionally, where a woman is too far on her female side. A woman who's too far on her female side will be institutionalized, or she'll be put on antidepressants. She could be on antidepressants on her male side as well, but this whole notion of, women never in politics is in ancient culture. The only people who get into politics are people of a high status. You're born into high status. Okay. Even today, by the way, there's only certain people that get close to politics. No normal person can go into politics.
And a little weird or crooked mind.
And they're all sociopaths, no doubt about it.
Yes.
But they also have a tradition, okay, in their family. They have connections, and they're actually a sociopathic race of people who want to rule everybody. I mean, you don't want to rule everybody. I don't want to rule anybody.
I want to connect everybody. I want to have fun.
Some people are just like, they're psychopaths. They all lie. That's why politicians are known to lie all the time. They do it with a straight face. It's just what it is. And, it's anyway, trying to bring this back into relationship here. We just went down a rabbit hole.
To quickie or to which
Okay.
to do.
So this is the ancient cultures was something called hysteria. And the Greeks gave that word hysterical. Women were hysterical because when given a decision to make, they could faint. Literally, they had huge anxiety. It's because to make a decision, yes, exactly that. They did that. That was real. Okay. Women today go, well, who is this woman? What is this woman? But this woman, she was only of a rich family with status. These women were not allowed to do things for themselves. They had slaves. Okay, people did things for them all the time. People even waited on them when they're having sex. I mean, it was the craziest thing, the way the world used to be. They didn't have a sense of what we have. It was very different. But the status of a wealthy man, or the status of a woman who's with a wealthy man, came about by, I have slaves who take care of me and do things for me, and they shop for me, and they take care of my children. Even today, rich people send their kids off to somebody else to raise them. This is standard procedure, which is I have to have people take care of me. Even their outfits were such that they couldn't work in the fields. They couldn't work in a garden. They couldn't get dirty, that. So when you have too much people taking care of you, the estrogen goes too high and there's no testosterone.
Oh.
Testosterone is produced when you have a job to do. So, and the problem is they didn't understand women, and they really didn't. What they said is, okay, you're hysterical, you need to rest. And that's the worst thing for a woman when she's hysterical, is she needs to do something, and these are women that were not taking care of their children. They had other people taking care of their children. They had other people taking care of the home. Everything was done for them. So a woman has to feel her testosterone. It's just women today, and they make a lot. You make a lot more testosterone than estrogen. It's just that men make 10 to 20 times more. We have to. Otherwise, we're stressed out and we look at the negative. When women don't have the right balance for their body type, they will have a bias towards looking at negativity, which maximizes at the time of menopause. Okay, so you're going through menopause, and then after that, you're just jaded if you don't change. Okay, so you don't have all the huge change, the confusion. You just say, all men are jerks, I'll just do it myself. See, it's still a conflict when you're married and you wish your partner would do it for you, even though you've got years of feeling resentful. But now you're still thinking, trying to make it work, not, and then finally you just settle into, well, I can't ever trust men. I got to do it myself. And this is not a fulfilled life. This is a partially fulfilled. You can do it yourself, but there's so much more to life, which is balancing both your male side and having someone be there for you, so you don't have to do it all.
So what's better to do? To accept a quickie in the morning that
back to the question. Great question.
Or to wait.
In that book, I explained 3 types of sex. And you have to read the book so we both know what are the 3 types of sex. There's the quickie, and this is when she's not in the mood and it's been a while and he wants a quickie. Okay, so then, and you basically say, sure, happy to do a quickie. And when I wrote that in the book, so many women wrote to me of any other thing I've ever read and said, thank you for giving me permission to do quickies. Okay, just to let you know, this was amazing. It's because even though I wasn't really into it, sometimes I get into it, but at least I feel so close to him because I feel his love for me. So there's something she gets out of it. But too many quickies is not good. So what the book explains is quickies is sometimes you're not in the mood, but he wants to have sex. And so, sure, we can do a quickie. Next one is healthy home-cooked sex. Now, healthy home-cooked sex, not a quickie, it's 30 minutes. So it's enough time for them to be a little affectionate with each other, some kissing, some touching, him to kiss, him to do breast, him to do clitoris, him to do vagina, and all this stimulation and even some intercourse. But when he sees he's going to ejaculate, he doesn't. He pulls out and they start all over again. And this way he builds her up and gives her an orgasm, or gets very close to orgasm. It gives her an orgasm, or pulls him in before and they have an orgasm together, whatever that. But always the deal with the home cooked sex is she has an orgasm before him. He doesn't get a chance, and he can come inside of her, but he can't ejaculate on her. If he starts seeing it, think of a number between 1 and 10, around 6, he needs to pull out. He needs to put her hands down, and he starts over the whole thing. For many men, that first stage of him touching her and kissing her and rubbing on her and feeling really good and putting his penis inside, that could be 3 minutes. Okay. So to a woman, she's just warming up. For many women, they're just warming up. So you got to okay, I'm close to having an orgasm. Let me put it on the shelf. And now let me take another 10 minutes to start over and show how much I love her, be close to her, touch her gently, touch her exciting ways, the way she likes and whatever, and make sure she's got some clitoral stimulation, then go in for the orgasm in the vagina, or give her clitoris orgasm. So she has an orgasm for sure. Then he can come inside of her and have another orgasm. And that will usually click a different kind of an orgasm for her, just feeling his burst of estrogen, because that's what it is. That's why men pull away afterwards. They ejaculate, their estrogen shoots up, knocks their testosterone down. Now he needs to pull away for a while because it's independence and separation that rebuilds testosterone. Connection builds estrogen. So there's going to be that reaction back. So when I have a quickie, it means that it's my responsibility to make sure I initiate healthy home cooked sex, and once a month, at least, gourmet sex. And gourmet sex is, I'm going to take her out. I'm not going to drink, or only a little bit. I'm going to not eat too much. I'm going to be ready to make love in the evening or in the morning, if that's what she prefers. You need to provide everything for her. And candlelight, the music, you clean up the room. You go overboard once a month, and that's to compensate for the quickies. So now that's one way of looking at quickies. Now, my experience, and I put it in the book, I wrote that book 20 years ago, is after a while, it may be that you give up on quickies. Okay. For me, the idea of quickies was fantastic until I realized it's not as good as healthy home cooked sex. So, but it's important to have the option of quickies, because and then a communication skill. I say, honey, you want to do a quickie? And she says, John, I'm always happy to have a quickie with you. And if we wait a day or two, we could actually make love. And that's up to you. And then he says, well, when do you think that will be? Then you say, I'll let you know. Because see, a big part of frustration for men is I want to have sex. You don't want to have sex. Already I feel rejected, as opposed to I say, I want to have sex. And you say, oh, I would love to have sex with you. We can have a quickie, or we can wait a few days and we can make love, and I'll let you know when. See, it's like, and then if I know when, then I'm not hunting for it all the time. I know she's going to tell me, and I know I'm going to get the benefits of healthy home cooked sex, which means that she's going to have an orgasm, because he cannot, the rules that go with quickies is don't expect her to have an orgasm. And then she said even, so you want to do quickies, you have to know I need more time. But I'm happy to do that because I like being close to you. But don't expect me to breathe heavy. Don't expect me to make any noises. Don't expect me to have a climax. And I said, nope. And I said, you can lie there like a dead log. And then I heard what I said. She said, really? And I said, yes, really. So you can't put pressure on her if you're going to do quickies. You have to realize this is just her doing something for you, not because I have to do it for you, because I like doing it for you. But I won't continue to like doing it for you if I'm not getting my healthy home cooked sex and I'm not getting my occasional gourmet sex. Then it's all win-win. Otherwise, it seems like it's all about him and not her.
Makes sense.
So that's all
but
nice.
What if he's like some very special person to me, older lady. She told me she and her man are laying in a bed, and he's like, hey, you want to have sex? She's like, no. He said, come on, ride me. So it's not even I want to go do you. And I mean, okay, they are older, right? He's probably coming towards his 80s. But it was like, what's romantic about that?
Nothing romantic. She needs to explain to him. Here's how a woman can explain it to a man. I have a different biology, and that my body takes longer to warm up to enjoy sex. Otherwise, I don't enjoy it at all. You don't need any time at all, but you do have time in between. But when the magic moment happens, it happens like a blowtorch. Okay, I'm ready to go. Let's say, hey, want to have sex? Let's have sex. Ride me. Okay, so
Yeah. So
whoa,
what
wait
is
a
a
second.
woman to do when he's like, ride me? Oh, yeah, you want to have sex, but you don't feel like it, or you don't
Yeah.
want to do the work.
That's where you have had conversations about all of this. See, everything happens outside the bedroom to make the bedroom work, where we can do a quickie, absolutely, but I'm not going to ride you. You can get some lubrication and come inside of me. I'm going to lie here like a little dead log, but you can use me that way. That's okay. But riding you means I got the energy. I don't need any energy for this. Okay. So
Yeah, like you are a dead log and I'm riding you. So I'm
yes,
doing all
yeah,
the manly work. What's the
exactly,
point? I don't feel like
exactly. There's no point at all. Okay, unless she's in the mood. I mean, sometimes I won't say I'm like a dog, but my wife can just touch my penis a little bit. It's so interesting when she touches my penis. She just reaches over, touch my penis. I could be not in the mood at all, but then suddenly it's like somebody else woke up. You know, oh, okay, all right, I'll go with this. But still, I'm still a little lazy, you know. So I'll just go ahead, ride me. You want to do? You're initiating. You can ride, and I can just sit back. But I'm not disengaged. I'm fully into it. It takes me a couple of minutes while she's riding me, and then suddenly I'm jumping on her. But it takes a while to get that in. Just for men, it happens very quickly if they're still there. One of the problems for men today is they masturbated too much. That's why men lose their potency as they get older, as they masturbate way too much. It's crazy now.
one
Boys,
masturbation question.
yep.
Is it true that men need to suppress masturbation, but women should have self-touching, self-pleasure practice? That
There's a time in a woman's life to explore her body to know what's there. Okay, which means understand the vagina, understand the clitoris, basically. Learn to touch her breast, see that she has erogenous zones a little bit. But when you have sex with yourself, whether you're a man or a woman, you lose your sexual potential. So I disagree with the point you just made. It seems like a nice thing to say, but what it is there's a sexual potency that we all have, which means that it's easier to get aroused. You have more to get aroused with. Think about like you have a bank account. And every time you ejaculate or climax as a woman, your bank account goes down. So if you're not having a man do you, your bank account goes up. You don't lose your sexual potency when a man does you. If a man is taking care of you, then your energy stays in you and it grows. That's your sexual ability to be turned on, for example, the ability to be more loving in your life. If you're holding that only with this partner, they do you, and you're keeping it. If you do it yourself, or even worse, you do it with a vibrator, a robot, you're basically losing your life force each time. You can rebuild it, okay? But what happens as well as for men or women when they masturbate, for many women, they get addicted to the climax. And now when you're addicted to the climax, each time you're depleting yourself of your sexual potency to actually have a vaginal orgasm. And, what we do know is half the women in America have never had a vaginal orgasm. And we don't know exactly how much they've all masturbated, but we know that the other half that have had orgasms, they've only had clitoral orgasms, half of those, and only a quarter of the women have ever experienced a vaginal orgasm. So what keeps you from having a vaginal orgasm is being in a loving relationship with a man where you feel really safe. The vaginal orgasm is more of an emotional and physical orgasm. The clitoris is not emotional at all. It's just pleasure. And anytime you just feel pleasure, you're burning off energy. You feel better. Women don't feel as down, but they get needy. What men feel is disgusted by themselves or their partner or whoever they fantasized with. When they see the research on this, is now we'll talk research. When a man masturbates online with a woman, most cases, he's done the whole thing. The average time a man spends on a porn site is 8 minutes. He goes on. He now has to find, out of 64,000 women, he has to find one. So that's a good 4 minutes of searching where one clicks in. And then he does this in 2 minutes, he's done, and that's it. And it's so funny. And the hotels, and these are all these Christian hotels who don't believe in porn, but they make all their money off of porn. This is just hypocrites. And that's the Hyatt Hotel, that's the Hilton. Anybody who's got porn sites, they all think they're feeding an addiction of males to make them more animalistic, to lose their sexual potency. When a man loses sexual potency, his ability to feel love is diminished. I mean, he can be an old man who's nice and kind, but he doesn't feel the potency that he could have when he was younger. He's just burnt out. You can only just, in Asia, they say you've only got so many ejaculations and you're done.
Wow, like so many breaths.
Like so many breaths and you're done. It's the male potency. I mean, they've got a whole history showing that, there's a technique. I do it. I'm multi-orgasmic. I almost have sex every day at 72, and I never ejaculate. Okay. And if I ejaculate, it's just a mistake, right? Because it takes complete control and presence of not being greedy. You learn how to not, you don't pull it back. You just never get to the point where you have to release it. There's a whole lot that I teach about this, but that's not this subject. You first have to be having regular good sex, making love sex, gourmet sex, and gradually you should get tired of the quickie. But there's also a situation where you're not having sex for a while, and this will be sex-starved marriage. I've been in that many times when I was, every one of these books takes me at least a month to write, and I don't have sex at all. All my sex energy goes into writing. Okay, this is life force energy. So I transmute it. If I was to have sex, I wouldn't have the momentum. I can write for 10, 15 hours, and this beautiful book comes out. It's like I'm in love with my words. It's like music to me when I write these books. And it's also wisdom. So there's no sex energy for my wife, and she's not feeling attended to me because I'm putting everything into the book. Not everybody's this way. I'm kind of an extreme person. Now I'm extremely balanced. But anyway, so after that, I'm now ready. It's like that when I finish a book, it's like I'm a long distance runner and I'm in the Olympics and I'm coming into the stadium and I'm way ahead of everybody. And everybody is on their feet, clapping for me. I mean, that's what I feel. I'm just like, I can feel it now. It's just amazing feeling of accomplishment and achievement. And I did this, my testosterone's off the chart. What do you think I want to go do now?
Have sex.
I want to go have sex with my wife. I haven't had sex in a month, and I'm ready to go. My testosterone is up. I'm ready to go up. And she says to me, John, I can't have sex with you. I need to get reacquainted with you. You've ignored me. I haven't seen you in a month, just like, this, and she's cooking for me. She's doing everything, helping the kids and everything. So she's serving me in a sense all that time, and I'm doing nothing directly for her. Somebody could say, well, he's working to make money to support the family, but there's nothing directly for her, and we don't need the money. This is a different thing that couples who have if you're above survival, then women need him to do things for her personally. If you're in survival, the fact that he'll sacrifice and do dirty jobs that she doesn't want to do will be a turn on to her. So it's a different distinction there. And we are all beyond survival if you live in the West and you're listening to this. So you can think you're in survival, but you're not like real survival where if he ignores you for a month, you're so grateful he's out there doing that for you. It's a couple of days is fine, but 30 days when you're having regular sex with your wife, she misses me a lot. She misses the attention, the affection, the warmth, and so forth. So she would say to me, it made no sense to me at all because I'm totally ready to go. And she's saying, I just feel like I need to get reacquainted. We have to spend some time together. And then I would be really frustrated. And I said, well, how much time? She says, I don't know. So we solved that problem after a few books, which is, I know we have to get reacquainted. We have to reconnect. We have to do some things. But first I do initiate. I say, want to have sex? She says, well, I need to get reacquainted. And I said, okay, I understand that. Is there a part of you that wants to have sex? She says, John, I love you. There's always a part of me. I just need time. And then I would say, how much time? And she says, I will let you know. And what's so amazing is those two factors. I say, do you want to have sex with me? Well, there's always a part of me that wants to have sex with you. And we could have a quickie. By that time, I've learned quickies are nothing for me. That was just in the beginning to feel that I could have it. Yeah. Now I learned that I can just wait a little bit, but she's going to let me know. See, the whole key that made me feel not frustrated was, she just said, and I'll let you know, rather than my thinking, well, I'm taking you to dinner. Is this the right time? And that makes you start over again. It makes me needy and demanding and whatever. So she needs to feel like, hey, I love you, honey. I'm happy to do for you. Just let me know when you're ready. Give me a signal. And we do have signals. That would be, for her, it was a little too direct sometimes to say, let's just go have sex. That eventually ended. But in the beginning, the signal was she would bring home a bottle of wine. Oh, no, another one was she would buy pistachios because I told her, I think I want to eat pistachios. It puts me in the mood. So after that, whenever she put pistachios out on the table, I knew We could have sex. That she was, in her side, was ready. A lot of couples, I give them the candle technique, which is just simply 2 different candles. If he lights his candle, it means whenever you're in the mood, I'm ready to have sex. And when she lights the candle, then okay, we can go for it. But what's interesting is when she lights the candle, it's not like you just rush right into it. It's just like, oh, good. And now you have conversations, you talk, but it's from the point of view of it's coming. See, the whole thing is that he knows it's coming. He knows she wants it. And that's an important thing, is that when a man is not getting sex, his wife needs more time, more attention, affection, she can say, John, there's a part of me, I can't wait to have sex with you. I want to have sex with you. I just have to activate those hormones inside. It'll take a little time, and I'll let you know when. Here's some things we could do. Here's 3 things we could do to help get me in the mood. You could look at this and look at this. You decide. So we put all these things together. But there's other things that I want to make sure women who are going through menopause know. They're my biohacks. And I know we're kind of going over time, but a little over time. We'll have a few more minutes. This is one, with men, we're hunters for millions of years. And like one biohack was, if my wife's in a hurry, she likes me to drive fast. But if we're not in a hurry, she doesn't like me to drive fast. And I always drive fast. Okay. So she needed that wait. How can I communicate to you, John, to slow down without you becoming irritated with me? And still, even if I don't show it, I am annoyed if somebody's telling me how to drive, particularly when I can drive much better than her. Okay. That's accepted fact. Okay.
I believe you.
Okay. So, and she agrees. Okay. But still it would annoy me. She says, I know when I ask you to slow down, it's annoying to you. How can I communicate that to you in a way that wouldn't be annoying? See, this is how you get over all these things when communication. How could I communicate that to you in a way that wouldn't be annoying? And I sat there. I remember sitting in the car thinking, boy, it must be hard to figure out me, because I don't know how you can communicate that to me without my feeling annoyed. And then I thought, oh, I have a solution. Don't say anything. Just grab the handle. Okay. So she grabs the handle. And then I immediately slow down. I don't have somebody telling me what to do. I have awareness. Oh, there's a problem here. I'm going to slow down. And every time it became this foreplay or romantic moment, because I would slow down right away, put my hand on her thigh and say, and I did that for you. And she says, I know, and I appreciate it. Put her hand on my hand. Very sweet. Because you have to realize, I've learned since then, one of the best foreplays is how you drive when your wife is sitting in the front seat. If you're driving and you're driving in a way that makes her feel safe, that will help. Because see, everybody's in danger in a car. Man's less in danger because he's driving, but she's just sitting there waiting. He has no control. So drive in a way that makes her feel good. Check in. How's the driving? It's like those little stickers. How's the driving? See, good. Point it out. And then have 2 driving styles, which is, she knows my driving style. If there's a yellow light, I speed up and go through. She likes me to slow down and stop. So every time I stop at a yellow light, put my hand on her thigh. I said, I did that for you, honey. This is years and years of doing this. It works every time. She says, yes, I know. I appreciate that. Because she's seeing I'm doing something for her, not because I'm bad. There's nothing wrong with speeding up at a yellow light. There's nothing wrong with driving fast if you're in a hurry. But I'm slowing down as a consideration for her. So these are the things that turn women on. They make them feel safe, because if I have a need, he will immediately respond. See, this is this quick response, which men don't realize the power for estrogen for a quick response. How many times the woman says, honey, we still need to empty the trash. I'll get to it. And then he forgets to do it. Or, this light bulb's out, would you put this on your list? I'll get to it. It's this postponement. That gives a message to her body that I have a need and I don't get it fulfilled. If she has a need and he gets it fulfilled right away, it shoots up estrogen. So I'm going to stop there for a moment and go to another point and combine them together. There's another point which is really big in Men Are From Mars, and also in Beyond Mars and Venus, I have more expanded. And it is that women biologically and also emotionally, whether they're aware of it or not, they're keeping points score all the time. Okay. A lot of women, I'm not keeping score. Yes, you are, because it's just nature. He's getting this. What am I getting? I did this. What did he do for me? And the way I learned that women would, because women generally wouldn't admit it. Now maybe we're more aware. But this one woman came to me and said, for 23 years, I've given and given and given. and I've gotten nothing back. I said, oh, so you've been keeping score that whole time? And truthfully, she says, I didn't realize it, but I was. Okay. She just wasn't aware of it. But the brain has to keep score. It's a balance, it's a give and a take. So, but the way women's brains keep score is every act of love, an act of love scores equal, big or small, has the same effect.
Yes.
Every act of love has the same effect, big or small. So I can give her 50 roses. She's going to get a nice surge of estrogen. Give her one rose. She's going to have the same estrogen surge. And then I put my arm around, I give her a hug. That's a surge of estrogen. Honey, where are you? I pursue her to give her a hug. That's 2 surges of estrogen. I do one of my hacks. I get 4 hugs a day. I get up, I find her. It's just simple. I have my routine of certain things, my strategies. They're hacks. I need to find her, and I find her. That's a point. I give her a hug. I say, bye-bye, I'm going off. Or I give her some little understanding where I'm going. If I let her know where I'm going, that's an extra point. Women have this GPS. They always want to know where you are. They have to know where you are. It's just this thing about women. That's their level of security. We're trying to produce oxytocin to raise her estrogen. So it's not like I'm checking up on you. It's just she wants to know where you are in case she needs help. Okay. It's always hidden inside of women. I need to be able to access it if I need that, because this is a million years where men were the protectors. You want to know where your protector is, and you want to know that if you cry help, he will stop everything and do that for you. So it could be your life's in danger and he stops everything, or your life's not in danger, but it's like a little one rose problem.
Cockroach.
And he jumps like it's a big thing. So this is the hack. This is the hack. Again, it's using hand signals, which is the easiest thing for men to hear, ironically. And it looks like we're hunters in the forest. And if you're in a war figure, you go like this and you go, or you pull your ear, I'm going this way, you go that way. You have little sign languages that they have in military, they have it in hunting, and they say quiet. So stop talking and give the signal. So the signal, this is a biohack. The signal is, and remember, the most romantic thing is when a man does something for a woman that she could do for herself, but she doesn't have to do it because he's doing it for her. Okay, now, so the hack is you put 5 fingers up, and that means I'm going to do this once a day, one a day, that's all. But you have to do it every day. It's usually the woman who won't do this, by the way. Men are completely fine with this. Once you get them to agree to it, you say, I have an insecurity, and I know you love me, but sometimes I don't feel loved. And I know it's my problem. It's my insecurity, but there's something you can do to help me. And it will only take 5 minutes a day. Would you be willing to do that? And so he'll say, 5 minutes. He says, I don't know. Come on. You die for me. Are you kidding? And this is going to keep me happy. You're going to put me in the mood for sex more often. What are you, crazy? Just 5 minutes a day. So, okay. But most men, I've never had a man resist me on this when I'm teaching it to a man. I never have heard a woman couldn't get a man to do this, but maybe some men just don't understand the differences between men and women. So it's a 5-minute hack. So I'm going to ask you to do something for me. I'm being the woman here. When I put my hand up, I'm going to ask you to do something for me that I can do for myself, that I won't have to do because you're going to do it for me, but it will not take more than 5 minutes and could be much less. Perfect. Would you be willing to do that? Perfect. Yes. Every day. This will help me feel that I am loved, even though I know intellectually, but emotionally I feel insecure, unworthy of love. Psychology says it comes from our childhood, whatever. All I know is this is a hack that will produce that good feeling inside of me. So when I do this, no matter what you're doing, when I do this, it's like the house is on fire and I need your help. Protect me, protect the family. And it's basically a big smile. What is it? You haven't even fake it if you need to. Imagine you're the flight attendant on an airplane and you're flying first class and they say, oh, you can have whatever you want. Just push this button and we'll be right there. Okay. So you're going to be the owner of a restaurant best restaurant in town. And you come in and they, oh, Dr. Gray, how about this? Let me give you a special table and free hors d'oeuvres, something like that. So you're going to be Superman at that time. I'm going to put up my hand. You're going to notice, you're going to say, what is it? I want to help. And another one, if you've ever seen the movie Princess Bride, do you know that movie? No. You've never seen Princess Bride? Well, it's a little generation, but particularly everybody
I
who
don't
grew up.
watch Hollywood movies. I'm totally,
Okay, yeah.
but
So
I should
anyway,
watch because of you.
it's a fun movie, but it's a classic where everywhere I go, many women in America all know every word of the movie. Okay, and
Wow.
that whole
I
idea,
must watch. I shall.
and the guys learn it too. You know, it's a very amazing movie. And but anyway, the guy is the farm boy, a farm man, but he's handsome and tall and whatever. And then there's the princess, and the princess, you know, it's high. She's high standard. He's low. He shouldn't even think about her, but he never says anything. It's just she asks him to do stuff, and he says, "As you wish, as you wish." And it's always in terms of a need that she has. So that should be his attitude, which is as you wish. And just for 5 minutes, you're not some, you know, wimpy guy who does whatever your wife says, you know, men are afraid of that and women don't want that. They don't want to be ordering a man around, but this is for 5 minutes a day. That's it. And she will feel, her body will go, I have a request. He jumps to it, has no resistance. He has no like, oh God, I have to do that again. Oh, I have to do that. Or I don't have time. I'll put it on the list. I'll get to it. No, none of that. You get immediate response, and men have no idea of the power this has on a woman. Already your body's feeling it just to be able to anytime you like this. And then there's an extra one that you can do once a week. Once he's doing that for a while, and they say, now you're doing so good. There's another one that might be even happier. He says, what? The 10 minutes. Okay. 10 minutes once a week, 10 minutes once a week. And my wife does that for me, particularly. She waits to those moments because some days I'm really exhausted and tired. You know, I've just been busy. I've been working so much. And then I just need to go watch TV. That's my cave. I want to just go hear the news, hear what's going on. See, news produces dopamine. Okay. It said my testosterone starts to rebuild with the dopamine, but there's no stress. I'm not stressed. Some people, when they watch the news, they get stressed. I'm not stressed. I'm like, you know, so much smarter than
circus.
Yeah. Anyway,
You're
so
having fun, popcorn.
yeah, exactly. You know, it's other people's stupidity. I feel so smart when I watch the news, but also it's other people's problems. It's not my problem. I can forget all my problems, give myself that break. It's like a little holiday. So the other day, for example, I was just like, we're having dinner together. We ate together. And then I got to get to the television set. I mean, she wants me to be there, have a conversation with me. And she said, well, let's just have a conversation. I said, I really want to just watch the news. We can do that later. And she says, okay, you're my genie. She puts her hand.
Good job.
And then I said, okay, you got it. It was amazing. All she had to do, it's just only 10 minutes. See, when you give a man a job, he doesn't know when it ends. He needs a beginning and an end and know that he can do it. And it was so amazing to me. And it is always how much energy comes into my body when I know she really wants it. It's only once a week and it's only taking 10 minutes. So this is a lot to do with conversation. If you see he's kind of like not hearing you, whatever, then you just say 10 minutes. I want you to be my adoring fan. Just listen to everything, hear me out. And he can do it. It just have the time limit. So these are really two really good hacks. The other hack I mentioned earlier, how to convince a man, how to teach a man to do this. You say, basically, once again, I know you love me, but at times I feel insecure. And it's not you. You're wonderful. You have to do it in this way. Otherwise, you won't do it. You have to build them up. And then you say, and I know you love me. I know you're there for me. The other day you did this and this. But sometimes when I'm busy and whatever, I forget how much you love me and I feel insecure and I need reassurance. And it's not like I'm the only one who needs reassurance, because I know that like when you do something really well, and people, well, this is what I say, at least I give a lecture and everybody claps for me, then I know I did a good job. If they give me a standing ovation, I feel even better. If they pay me a lot of money, I feel even better.
If they throw tomatoes.
So that's the feedback I get, tells me I made a difference. My testosterone goes up. I'm getting reassurance. I know I'm good, but if I get reassurance, I feel even better.
Great,
So
yeah.
you're making the point, Tim. I feel your love. It's wonderful, but I have my own insecurities. So if you do this little process, it's a reassurance exercise. And he says, okay, what's that? And I said, well, it only takes like 1 minute. And I'd like to do this with you during one of the 4 hugs a day, if we're doing that, or I can do this once a day and I can do it and first explain it. And I wouldn't tell how many times you're going to do it yet. I'd just say, so what is it? And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say to you, after one of the times you hug me or any random moment in the day, I'm just going to say, do you love me? And you're going to say the script. Yes, I love you. Now, normally if I said, do you love me? You'd say, of course. Why would you think I don't love you? Well, now you know, I know you love me. Don't say, of course. Just simply say,
I do. I love
yes.
you.
I'm going to say, do you love? Then say, uh, 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 do you love me? You say yes. And then I'm going to say, how much do you love me? And you're going to say, with all my heart, or any other nice thing you want to say, but simple script. Do you love me? Yes. How much do you love me? With all
Oh,
my heart. You think I'm beautiful? Yes, you're beautiful. If you're married, are you happy to be married? Are you
yes.
happy to be married?
I love being married to you.
And he says, I love it. And sometimes if you're really feeling insecure, you say, do you regret marrying me? No, I don't regret marrying you. You're the number one person in my life. I'm so lucky. So that's the reassurance exercise. These are all little hacks. You apply them. And particularly when you're having sex, you say those things in the beginning during foreplay. Then when he puts it in, you say it again and again, many times, because sometimes the arousal will start to go up and it starts to go down. That's where women try to intensify it. So rather than ever intensifying, let him bring you back up again by just saying, do you love me? So let him know when you say this during sex, it raises your estrogen, allows you to have more orgasmic feeling or have more orgasms.
Cool. I love that.
So
Because
there's just
it's
some good
not asking
biohacks.
for validation. It's not asking for validation. It's, I'm hungry. Here is the food.
That's
I'm
right. That's
hungry
right.
for dessert. Here is
And
dessert.
validation is one thing, but this is reassurance.
Yes,
Reassurance
yes,
is even deeper than validation.
yes.
Hearing a woman talk, that's another hack, which is a 10-minute, you go like this, you go the Venus talk, and that's where I just want to talk about some of the things I'm upset about today. It's not about you, and I don't need you to fix it. I don't need you to solve it. I just need you to say, help me understand it better. Tell me more. What else? And it won't be about you. And I just need you to listen, and then I'll feel better. And then I just want you to give me a hug, and I'll go in for a hug, and I will feel better. So you have to give him in on these instructions, as opposed to thinking he should
If
now.
you love me, you should know.
Yes, exactly. That's a big obstacle. So I got to run. I've had such a good time with Helena. Thank you so much.
I love you, Joan. This was wonderful.
Love you too. All right.
Thank you so much. See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.